What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the PGA DFS Pick Show. I am your host, John McNutt, aka John Cool 19, here for Fantasy Sports Insight. This week is the Waste Management Phoenix Open. This is one of the most fun events of the entire season. Obviously, the Masters probably being tops, but this event is second to none other. So excited for this week. So let's go ahead and jump right in. This week, we are dealing with just one course. Enough of that multiple course rotation nonsense. This is TPC Scottsdale. We are in Scottsdale, Arizona. The course is about 7,200 yards. That's somewhere around average par 71. And the grass greens, this is a blended grass green. So we're not looking really, it's Poa annua, but also it is overseeded Bermuda and also a bent grass blend. So I am not concerned with exactly the type of surface this week. I'll be looking at some short-term and long-term putting in my modeling, but not overly concerned with grass type. Couple things. TPC Scottsdale, a lot of risk reward here. The fairways are somewhat narrow and there is hazards just out of the fairway. So if you miss into the rough, not very penal. If you miss just a little bit farther, you're out of bounds. And that is a key thing this week. So I'm looking at kind of some bogey avoidance and really the off the tee game golfers who are finding the fairway or at least not ending up in lots of trouble off of the tee. This course definitely rewards accurate golfers versus the longest golfers out there. Biggest reason why this is desert golf in Scottsdale, Arizona. Everybody is going to hit the ball much farther. You can see it is about the longest average driving course on tour. So that kind of nixes the advantage some of the longer guys have. The course is just not set up to reward all the longest hitters, but it absolutely does reward golfers who put themselves in great position off the first shot. And then this is a second shot course as well. Approach being absolutely important. I am ranking that as my number one stat this week. Right behind it, off the tee, also including par five scoring. There are only 3 par fives, but really they're all going to be reachable for this field. So we're going to see a lot of birdies, tons, I should say, a lot of eagles, and a ton of birdies, something around a 50% clip on a couple of these par fives. So absolutely including that into my modeling. As far as course history goes, this is one of the most important courses to look at the course history as far as a correlation there. So I'm including that quite high in my modeling. If you want to look at kind of some of the distances, there's going to be a lot of the holes. The vast majority are going to be 400 to 500 yard par fours. So include that in my modeling a little bit as well. And then for proximity, the highest percentage of shots are going to come in from the 150 to 175 range if you want to put that in as well. I'm also including some scrambling and short game in my modeling. So this is going to be a really fun event. I like how the modeling works out. And again, that course history being very, very important this week. The greens, I mentioned the blended grass. These are very fast and firm greens as well. They're pretty large size, so I'm not really too concerned about greens at regulation this week. A lot of golfers are going to be hitting the greens with those size, but looking at really a short game combination as well as some scrambling for these narrow fairways. So that is about it for my modeling for the course. Let's jump right into some of my favorite plays. Talking DraftKings golf this week, right at the top of the pricing. I'm going to be taking a lot of Jon Rahm this week. I know I have done this many times so far this year. So far, it has been working out well. He ranks very well in my modeling. He's 11,000 on DraftKings, so a bit pricey. Last week, the highest golfer was not nearly that high, but Jon Rahm absolutely deserves it. He's about 750 in the market. I would not be putting an outright on Jon Rahm. I would rather take a shot at a lot of the other extremely good golfers that are kind of in that maybe 20 to 40 range. There is a ton of good golfers in there. But as far as DraftKings go, Jon Rahm at the top. This is really a home game for him, I'm calling it. He went to Arizona State University. You can see him here in the jersey that he has previously worn at this tournament. We shall probably see him wearing a jersey at least one of the days, especially on that 16th hole. That's where you'll see him break out the jersey for potentially a hole-in-one in front of the crowd. That's what everyone's going to be trying for on 16, the stadium hole. So yeah, Jon Rahm, home game. He also lives in Arizona right now. So everything points towards him having a great opportunity. His course history is really, really good here as well. He has finished he's played here 7 times. He's never been worse than 16th, and he was 10th last year. So a lot to like on the course history. His form, that's why we love Jon Rahm right now, though. He hasn't finished worse than T8 since the Tour Championship. Looking at his events, and this includes the DP World Tour, he is T2, T4 first on the DP Tour, T8 first at the Tournament of Champions, first at the Amex, and then T7 at the Farmers. Besides maybe Rory, I don't think anyone can make an argument for being a hotter golfer on the planet right now. Those two certainly are the best of the best. A lot of Jon Rahm, he's also gaining strokes really in all facets right now. He's doing it around the greens, off the tee, and approach, and even putting, gaining strokes right now. So only a handful of golfers in this field can claim that they're gaining strokes in all of those categories. I'll be talking about another one of those in just a moment. But last bit stats here on Jon Rahm. He is third off the tee in this field the last 36 rounds. He's also top 20 on par fives. He is third birdie or better. Also very good on good drives gained, a stat that I like to use a lot. So everything points towards Jon Rahm having a great week. This week, I'm going to slam him into a bunch of DraftKings lineups. Second golfer I'll be looking at as well, and that would be Sungjae Im. He is 9,200, a great price here for Sungjae, 25-1. I think the outright bet is certainly warranted here at that number. The form is good. In his last 12 events, he has 3 runner-ups, 2 more top 10s, and only 1 missed cut during that time. He did not play this event last year, but for the 3 years before that, 7th, 34th, and 17th, certainly worth a look on the course history there. He also gains strokes in all categories off the tee, approach, around the greens, and putting. For me, he ranks second on par 5 scoring. That's his last 50 rounds. And then looking kind of at the other stats, he's top 25 approach, top 15 off the tee, top 25 in short game. He also avoids bogeys at a top 15 clip in this field. So Sungjae Im, I think, will be very, very popular. The price is great here at 9,200. So if you can, I think he's a great place to start for your cash lineups, as well as maybe in some GPPs. If you can get a little bit different later, I will be mentioning a few pivots here now that you can certainly look at as an option when it comes to getting some lower owned golfers. But starting at a value play, that's Alex Noren. For me, he's 7,600 on DraftKings, 75-1 outright. I don't think Alex Noren is going to win this week, but I think he's certainly worth a look on DraftKings. He is in great form right now. Looking back since the Tour Championship, he's played 7 events, made all 7 cuts. 4 of those were top 5 finishes, and that includes his last 3 events, the Houston Open, the DP Championship, that was in November, and then the HSBC Championship in Abu Dhabi. He was top 5 there as well, and that was just 3 weeks ago. So he has gotten a little bit of golf in here in the new calendar year. For course history, he finished here 21st, 44th, and then 6th place at this event last year. Again, great course history. And then I'm looking for him as far as ownership goes. I think he's going to be like half the ownership of right next to him, Corey Connors, a guy that everyone loves to pick, a great ball striker. But I think Alex Noren is just as good of a play. And at half the ownership, give me all the Alex Noren and forget Corey Connors. I think that's an easy flip there, easy pivot for me when it comes to a great value option too. He ranks really well in my model, does Alex Noren. But I think he gives you some leverage too versus that range. Also, his irons really, really hot lately. He's been playing very, very well on approach. So a lot to like there for Alex Noren this week. And now for a couple low-owned guys, starting with Matthew Fitzpatrick. Last week, everybody jumped off the Matthew Fitzpatrick train when they heard about the injury issues. He did play through it. He didn't play great last week, but he's just a great, great golfer. He's very, very good off the tee. He's played well in some of these strong field events. Obviously, he won a major last year, but I'm looking at him maybe around like 4% ownership. And for a guy in the 9K range at 4%, I will absolutely pay that for him and run the risk of his injury being a little bit of an issue still. Looking right next to him, Sungjae Im, Tom Kim, and Cam Young, all close in the pricing. All those guys are going to be like 3 times the ownership as Matthew Fitzpatrick. So certainly worth a look as far as a leverage option there. He was 10th place at this event last year, and he's very, very good on par 5s, which I said we need to do. One last guy here, Brian Harman. He's 7,400 on DraftKings. pops really well in my modeling, coming in maybe around 9% or so. And next to him in the pricing, I see JT Poston. Also, I think he's going to play well this week. And Keith Mitchell. Both of those guys look like they're going to garner quite a bit more ownership than Brian Harman. He has played this event. Harman has played this event 9 times. He's made the cut 8 of those, and he had a top 15 finish last year. So give me some Brian Harman versus some of the other chalk in that area to give me leverage over the field on DraftKings. That is it for the picks. Last slide here. This is one and done standings. I had a poor week last week. Last minute, I switched over to Maverick McNeely, and he ended up withdrawing, I think, so that he could get a jump start headed over to this event. He didn't want to have to worry about the Monday finish, so he did not finish his third round there, and he went ahead and withdrew like a whole bunch of other golfers, which is worth exactly $0 on the one and done contest. Dropped me down in the standings. I'm going for it big this week. Give me Jon Rahm. There's a ton of money at stake. This is an elevated event. PGA Tour is handing out tons and tons of cash to the leaderboard. So give me Jon Rahm on a course that he loves in his home state at this point, where he resides, I should say, also where he went to college. And really everything's pointing towards his great form. And I think he has another excellent week. So give me all the Jon Rahm here in one and done also. So that is going to do it for this week's event. You can see the 16th hole right behind me here. Really, really fun event. And I just can't wait for this week to see how it progresses. We'll be talking weather as well as course, ownership percentages. All that is in our Discord. Please join over there. The best way to find that is via our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. You can also go to our website, FSIDFS.com. I can be found on Twitter at JohnCole19, and then the Discord is the best way to get all of that information, including cores, etc., and really be able to kind of dig in and ask questions as well. If you have any questions about any of the guys I talked about here, or anybody maybe that I missed that you want to know about, put questions in the comments. I'd be happy to respond as well. Certainly hoping for a great week, and good luck to all of you.